Hi, and welcome to another episode of Impact Club's The Insider Perspective series. May peace be upon you. I'm your host, Sabah Fatima. In this series of episodes, we are going to focus on entrepreneurs and professionals. Our guest today is Neeti Sonth. She is a California based engineer, mentor, and writer. She's currently working as a radio frequency systems engineer at Apple. Neeti is a mentor at engineeringgirl.org, an initiative by National Academy of Engineering for aspiring young women engineers. Neeti is also a volunteer for the astronomy programs held at Mount Tamalpais State Park in California. Neeti has also penned and recorded few short stories in vernacular language for I Volunteer Bagheera Welfare Foundation. Neeti completed her master's from University of Colorado Boulder in electrical engineering with a specialization in electromagnetics. During her master's, Neeti was a satellite program communication systems lead on the team that secured second place in the NASA CubeQuest Challenge Ground Tournament 4. The team secured space to set the CubeSat on NASA's Space Launch System, which is scheduled to make its debut in November 2021. Neeti pursued her undergraduate degree at the National Institute of Technology, Nagpur in India. During her time at NIT Nagpur, she strived to encourage students in various grades to kindle their passion for science, math, and engineering by hosting workshops and events. Neeti is also into poetry and article writing. Her article bagged merit position in Competition Success Review magazine, one of India's leading magazines. Neeti, welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Sabah, for this wonderful introduction. I'm so happy and excited to be, doing this with you today. Thanks again for inviting me.
I'm so excited too. So let's delve into it. Tell me about your journey into engineering and technology. How did it start and what motivated you to pursue it?
I love this question because it is so important to remember why we started because it impels us to continue further.
Mhm.
So, as a kid, I used to visit science centers and attend workshops. So there was a dome theater in Mumbai, and I used to watch documentaries on space, science, and technological marvels. Through these exposures, I realized that technology gives wings to science. Um, you
Mhm.
know, because technology is the application of science. Um, I used to dream of building satellites one day and contributing to the space industry. And I have worked with CubeSats during my masters. So CubeSats are miniature satellites, and I'm also involved with GPS satellites currently at my job, at Apple. So you know, uh, in each stage of my education, from school to undergraduate to masters, and the various projects that I was involved in along the way, assured me that this is what I wanted to do. Um, so I would define engineering as the art of bringing imagination to reality,
Wow.
because
That's a beautiful way to put it.
yeah, because you can design, invent anything you dream, so
Mhm.
it actually so yeah, it did feel like magic guided by scientific principles.
Awesome. So, what do you think are the essentials needed today to land a dream job in the technology sector?
So I feel like dream job is one where you are excited to go to work every day. You're learning new technologies and contributing to the company, and of course the society at large. um, so your definition of dream job should change and will change based on situation and time. So at any point, if you feel that your growth is being stagnated, that's the right time to redefine your dream job and what you want to pursue. But for any role you seek, I feel it is important to be confident and sell yourself strong. Um, so, I mean, giving my example, I started working at Cisco in networking domain. And then after my master's, I landed a job at Mentor Graphics in signal integrity domain. And now I'm at Apple in RF domain. So each of these positions required slightly different skills from the other.
Mhm.
And from my interview experiences, I can say that people have the misconception that if a job demands some skills, and if you do not possess all of the skills, you stand no chance. But I'd like to say that that is not true, because recruiters, they assess your aptitude for learning, how eager you are to learn those skills on the fly. So yeah, I think on the essentials, be confident, sell yourself strong, and have an aptitude for learning.
That's an amazing point, because a lot of times we feel like when going into the uh, the job industry, or like making a mark for yourself, we think that, okay, I need to prepare myself all in before even venturing into the job market. But I think, as you said, learning is part of it even after you complete your degree or your courses. It's still a big part of your life. And I think the what a lot of companies look for is your attitude towards learning.
Right.
And right, so that's a great point. Thank you for that. Tell me a story about the impact of your work as a mentor.
It's actually so heartening to see that there are so many aspiring kids, and they are excited about engineering, but of course they are nervous. I mean, they are. It's like the first time they are getting into the industry. So sometimes they just need the proper resources and assurance that they can do it. Mm. So there were a couple of undergraduate students who were interested in their engineering education, but they were into athletics, or they were also into athletics, and this was making it difficult for them
Mhm.
to balance studies, especially math and physics. So I tutored them in math and physics, and they were able to clear their exams with good scores. And I would say I'm pretty proud of what they have achieved. Um, and I have another incident wherein one of the high school girls was really scared, and she wanted some understanding and perspective on how difficult is engineering. So, as a mentor, I tried in my best capacity to help answer that question. And I think she quickly understood that patience and perseverance are at most required. No field is difficult or easy. And I have seen she is a motivated girl, and she enjoys building things, with those
Mhm.
small motors, LEDs, and Arduino boards. So she does work towards getting results. Um, so I think I'm pretty sure that now she has more conviction about her passion for engineering.
That's so cool. I mean, I congratulate you for guiding dreams as they it's so important. And you know I feel like a lot of times guidance is necessary, and a lot of times it doesn't have to be from say teachers or parents in general, because I feel a lot of times when, as a friend or a guide,
Right,
when a senior reaches out to you, it
right,
makes a lot of difference
right, right.
you
That's
know
absolutely.
so what were the toughest challenges you had to overcome in your journey?
Um, so there are certain myths that women are not good at math, or
Mm.
I think that's the most heard, or
Yes.
or they would not be able to handle work pressure, or they have to drop out to take care of families. And people often fall prey to these fallacies. So when I chose engineering after my 12th grade, I was told, rather, I was warned many a time, women should not do engineering. Engineering is a field for the men. And then when I did decide to pursue engineering, I had to clear certain entrance exams to be able to secure admission.
Yes.
And yeah, and then based on my performance, I obtained admission for my undergraduate education. And the university was not close to my home. I had to stay away from family. At this point, I was poked again. Why are you going so far? Don't you have good universities around? Um, I feel like women are expected to make sacrifices in their career choices just to please the society. Um, but that and after that, for my master's, for the grad school, I wanted to study electromagnetics or radio frequency. And I was encouraged against this field due to sparse opportunities, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of job and career. Um, but I'd say, like, at all these stages, I remember to trust my choices, and that faith in myself has landed me where I am today. So also, I think my parents provided me the strength and support to pursue
Mm-hmm.
my goals. So yeah, I think that's good.
I mean, I think these are the challenges that many
Right.
many face,
Yeah.
and you have it, having you as an inspiration who has made it, going through all of these challenges is so reassuring to a lot of us.
Mhm.
So thank you for sharing that. um I wanted to ask you, how do you handle peer pressure, deadlines, goal setting in your career life, and how do you balance work and life?
It is funny answering this question because I used to be really stressed about getting in my assignments on time. Um, but then I realized deadlines are necessary. Otherwise, we would not be organized and focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the journey of getting something accomplished, I used to set, or even now I do, I set my own micro goals, and I give a pat on my back, after reaching each of those. So that way I am motivating myself, and well, the summit does not seem implausible. One of the other things I acknowledge and do is setting realistic goals. And by that, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
um, taking responsibilities and tasks only to my capacity, um, acknowledging what I can and cannot do, and being transparent about it with the team. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's very important, and I try to do it because that way I'm not falling into peer pressure. And one of the other things about, you asked about managing, balance, work-life balance. So managing time wisely is also very crucial, because on the tasks, it's not really first in, first out kind of a system, but rather giving precedence to the most challenging assignments first. You start early on those, and you simultaneously work on the lesser challenging ones. That way, you don't have, the panic attack of, getting everything done at the last
Mm-hmm.
moment, and you know you are, everything goes on smoothly, I think.
Thank you for that advice. A lot of us need it because at times we don't know how to motivate ourselves, and having as you mentioned, micro goals set up helps you get things done you think that you can do in a short
Yeah.
time,
Right.
and which are achievable, because a lot of times when there's a lot to do, you obviously get overwhelmed.
Right.
So breaking it down really helps,
Yep.
and it goes a long way, because you set your day ahead and you focus on doing things that you can do at the time.
Right.
So what are some of your favorite books and courses?
um there are so many books, it's kind of hard to choose, but one of the books that I have inspired by is Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. So, this book gives us some insights on how to deal with unexpected change through a story. So, cheese here refers to change.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, some of the things it mentions in the book, or yeah, some of the things that are mentioned in the book are, we need to smell the cheese often, so we know when it's getting old. And the quicker we let go of old cheese, the easier it would be to adapt to new cheese. So, what I learned from all of this is, do not be scared of change.
Mm-hmm.
If you are too comfortable in a job, I feel like that is absolutely the right time to embrace change. It will obviously be the hardest when you are most comfortable, but that is the right time. Um, and on the and on the favorite
That's an
seats,
important lesson. Just because you mentioned that
yep,
it really strikes me as so important, because a lot of times when you get too comfortable, it's not good news, although you may
right,
think that you're doing so well. But
right,
really,
right,
growth comes from facing and taking on challenges,
right,
and that is a great lesson. Thank you for
right.
sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree totally on that. And to answer your other question, on my favorite course, I think math, or the first time I was introduced to it, I guess back in elementary school. They say math is a language of science and it is based on logic. But I would say engineering starts with a bunch of equations done right. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think math to begin with.
And math has been intimidating to, I say, many of us, because a lot of times it does not come naturally, but it does not have to come naturally. I think practice really helps, and it's not an impossible task to solve a problem. You can get there. I guess for some it might take some time, but it's worth it,
Right,
because the feeling of accomplishment at the end of it is so great.
right.
You
Very
know.
true. Yeah. Mhm.
So, what are the habits and skills do you recommend one should develop to perform well in the tech industry today?
Um, so to this question, I remembered something that my brother always says. There are no shortcuts in life except if you know of any wormholes. So this
Those wormholes, they might be everywhere.
well, yeah. So just for context here, so wormhole it's a theoretical passage through space time.
Mhm.
It creates shortcuts for long journeys across the universe. So this is almost science fiction, and
Yes,
and yeah, and I do not think we can exploit the benefits of wormholes in our lifetimes. Um, so basically, on performing well, I'd say there is no shortcut to success. Just work hard. And on the habits, I would say we should keep an open mind and work on self improvement and enhancing our skill set. When we are new to the tech, we can learn from so many experienced people in the industry. And as much importance is given to communication, I feel it is equally important, or even more, to be a very good listener. To me, that's one of the fastest ways of learning. And apart from that, I'd say like keep asking questions, and do not shy away from taking help when you're stuck, because sometimes you just need the right guidance. And last thing I would say is we're always so stressed out about being at the top of our game. We forget to focus on our health. I mean,
yes.
yeah, it's so important. Focus on your health, take those much needed breaks, and hey, spare some time for your hobbies, because at the end of the day, these leisure activities only make us more productive.
That's
So,
so true. A lot of times we assume that, if I take on a new skill or if I take on a new hobby, it's going to limit my productivity at work, or I
right,
might not be able to handle things. But I think it's so important. And the fact is that it actually makes you more productive.
right, right.
you know because I have experienced that firsthand. Taking something
Mm,
on and
right,
taking more responsibilities on, I mean, as much as you can handle it, it's
yeah.
going to help you become more productive down the line.
Right. And yeah, and I also think like, from these activities, there are things you learn which you can actually, you know, or use those skills in your work as well. There are like some unknown or like an involuntary kind of a learning that happens through these activities as well.
Yes, that's completely true. So what advice would you like to give to the listeners pursuing engineering, the students, and to the job seekers?
So, there is this thing that I have coined, the three C's, which stands for confident, and curiosity. So, let me elaborate a little bit here. So, first C, confident. Be your own confidant. By that, I mean, trust yourself. And second C, confident. Be confident of your current learning. And a third, seek curiosity. So have an insatiable curiosity to learning new things. So
Mhm.
I would say keep in mind these the three C's, and you would go a long way. And another thing I'd like to say is many students fear engineering or even giving job interviews, probably because of the competition and their lack of expertise. Um, so, to all of the budding engineers, I would say do not be scared to begin because no one is born an expert.
Yes, that's a beautiful way to put it, and we shall never forget the three C's.
Yeah.
Thank you for coining them. And speaking of your journey, what are your plans for the future?
Plans, I'd say growing technically, gaining as much knowledge as I can from this industry so that it gives me the tools, the skills to be a good engineer, a good researcher. And I definitely want to spend more time on volunteering, because I am what I am today because of the society. I am very grateful for it. The society has given me a lot, and I sure want to give back to the society. That's my goal.
That's an amazing goal, and I think that is a shared passion we have as friends
Yes,
too.
yes.
So, uh, thank you, Neeti, for for dropping in today, and I hope the listeners find um, value in what we have done today, and I'm sure they will find a lot of inspiration from your words. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you, Sabah. Thank you for inviting me, and discussing this with you has been really great for me as well. It was a learning, even as I thought through and answer these questions. It's like there are things you don't know about yourself or you've forgotten, and there are new things you learn along the way. So I think it's been great. Thanks so much for inviting me again.
And I look forward to having you again because this has been great. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. I shall see you next time.